What's going on, everyone? Bran here, about to give you the bloody breakdown on my own personal ranking of the Scream franchise post-Scream 2022. Alright, so most of you who have frequented this channel or are somewhat familiar with it know that I really get a kick out of, really enjoy ranking these franchises, and now that we have new entries in a lot of franchises as of recently, I thought it'd be a good idea to go back, take a look at these franchises again, see if these films have grown on me, see if they've weakened on me, and see where these new entries need to fall in my own personal ranking. So I always think this is fun to do. Bear in mind, everyone, this is just my opinion, just my personal ranking, and I invite you all to leave your own rankings down below in the comment section. So let's jump right in, starting out at number 5 for the Scream franchise. The weakest in my opinion, and bear in mind, I love all of these films, like I do. I love every single solitary Scream film that has ever been released in its own way. I'll defend all 5 of them until I can no longer. But unfortunately, the Scream film that is the least effective for me, that just doesn't work for me, looking at all of these, has got to be Scream 4. And like I said, I love all of these Scream films, but unfortunately for me, this one just really didn't feel... It didn't feel like it was a Scream film to me in certain aspects. I mean, obviously you've got Roger Jackson on the phone, you've got the Ghostface mask, you've got all your legacy characters in this one, but something just felt off to me in this one. Maybe it was because, I don't know, I felt like for the first time since Scream 2, we actually had some characters that weren't, vapid Hollywood twits like in Scream 3. So there's a good time to expand upon these characters, but I really don't think they did a very good job of that, save for maybe Jill. I guess a little bit with... I don't know why her name eludes me right now, but Kirby. There you go, Kirby. But in a lot of ways, I felt like she was, female copy-paste of Randy Meeks, which I felt like in the newer film that Mindy was, who had more of a right to be a copy-paste Randy Meeks, considering the family lineage was not that. So like I said, I think it was a missed opportunity, especially you look at someone like Kate Roberts, who is Maureen Prescott's sister, for fuck's sake, and you give her no screen time. Such a character that I thought was so valuable to the potential of giving some backstory or, something along this instance. It's what I've said about Cotton for a long time. I feel like they took him out way too soon. But yeah, I think it's really a character issue for me in this one. The weird yellowish film and I know people are probably pissed at me right now, Scream 4 fans, but yeah, I can't stand that weird yellowish film either. It's just strange. It's like I said, I love all these films, but looking at them all objectively, Scream 4's got to be the weakest one for me personally, but I still love it. So let's move on here to number 4. Moving up the list here is the newest entry in the Scream franchise, Scream 5, aka Scream 2022. Now, I really did enjoy this film as well, but I gotta tell you, nothing has cracked the original Scream trilogy for me. If you can't tell, those 3 are in the top 3 spots. But like I said, I loved Scream 5, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a better reboot than Scream 4 was, which I didn't expect, honestly, considering that this was the first one without Wes's involvement. But there were a lot of elements coming together in this one. They got all the legacy characters back. I felt like I enjoyed the killers and the motive more than I did in Scream 4. I enjoyed the newer characters more than I did in Scream 4. And I think it was really in my estimation, corrected some of the mistakes of maybe what they were trying to do with the 4th one. But that's, neither here nor there. I really enjoyed Scream 5. I enjoyed not just the legacy characters that we saw return, but, all the Easter eggs that are hidden within it, all the voiceovers that are hidden within it from past characters. It really, you can tell that Scream fans made this film. It shows 100%. and I absolutely love it. I love the characters. I love the motive. I love the story. I love the kills. I mean, I'll tell you, in this one, in Scream 2022, the kills seem so much more brutal and visceral to me than they have maybe since the original, and maybe even surpassing the original in certain aspects of just the brutality of this killer and how just gruesome even the simplest stab looks in this movie. So I got to give that credit. Absolutely love this thing. Wish I could put it higher, to be honest with you, but like I said, nothing tops that original Scream trilogy for me. So, speaking of that original Scream trilogy, let's go ahead and move into the number 3 spot. Coming in at number 3 is a Scream that I know the majority of fans would probably put dead last, but not for me. I'm talking about Scream 3. I adore Scream 3. I know that it is a weaker film than maybe any other in the franchise. I'll acknowledge that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like just because I like it that it's an excellent film. I know it's got its weaknesses. I know it's got its flaws. But for me, this was such an amazing film. And I know I have a lot of nostalgia for this thing, but the lack of character development in some of these characters, I kind of don't mind because, like I said earlier, they're kind of meant to be vapid, Hollywood celebrities that don't have much of a character, to be perfectly honest with you. At least that's the way I've always taken it. You gotta love the meta commentary of John Milton and how these movie producers are taking advantage of young girls in Hollywood. Definitely a statement Craven was making on Harvey Weinstein because, it's one of those things people talk about, people knew, but, So I absolutely love Scream 3. It sucked to see Cotton go in this one. I thought he had a lot more mileage left as a character so connected to what started this all with Maureen Prescott. But I do like Roman as a killer. I don't care what you guys say. I like the voice changer. I know it's over the top and ridiculous, but I like it. Really one of my main complaints about this film, though, is that there's not a second killer. And I thought, I get it. It was originally supposed to be the end of the trilogy, that one-on-one between Sidney and Roman. I get that, but at the same time, I think removing Angelina as a killer from the finished product was probably a misstep, considering there are so many different parts in this film where there definitely could not, absolutely is not, just one killer. There are multiple killers. You go look at the set piece where Ghostface is chasing Sidney around her old house or the set that's built to look like her old place. There's just got to be a second killer. So that one, that does gripe me a little bit, but overall, I really enjoy this film. Like I said, nothing beats that original trilogy for me. And as far as an ending to a Scream film, without a doubt, this is the best one. Sidney, Dewey and Gale becoming engaged. Sidney feeling free enough, open enough. She wears a dress as the score for that part of the movie addresses. Leaves her door open, leaves her gate open. Just really enjoyed it. Overall, the most satisfactory ending to any Scream film that has been made thus far. So we'll move on. Coming in at number 2 is Scream 2. I gotta tell you, this is not just my favorite sequel out of this franchise. This may be one of my favorite horror sequels from any franchise. As good as Scream is, Scream 2 is just as good of a sequel as the original is of an original film. If that makes sense. I absolutely love this movie. It sucked to see Randy go in this one. He's probably one of my all-time favorite characters in this franchise, but it did open up that anyone can be murdered in this film. Nobody is safe. And that did a lot for not just that film, but the franchise going forward to a degree, to make that decision. It sucks, and I would have loved to have seen Randy at least make it to Scream 4 personally, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, Scream 2 is amazing. It's got some great tension and suspense moments, like crawling over Ghostface out of the car, just things like that. A lot of the calls, the CC call is very well done. The opening is very well done. My second favorite opening in the franchise as well, only second to the original. Really enjoyed the new characters. I think this Scream 2 and Scream 5 probably have the best new characters in my opinion. So I really did enjoy the characters in this film. Absolutely love Mickey as a killer. Would love to get some backstory on what he was doing before he started working with Mrs. Loomis. Apparently he was already a serial killer before that, from what we're told. So I got to tell you, I would love to see a mini series maybe on the adventures of Mickey Altieri before he ran up on Sidney Prescott. Also, I really like Laurie Metcalf's performance as Mrs. Loomis, Nancy, I suppose. Just really enjoyed this film overall, and that's why it's my favorite sequel out of the entire bunch. So that leaves only one more spot open. I guess if you're keeping track here, you'll know what that is. No surprise here, still at the number 1 spot. One of my favorite films of all time, coming in at number 1, is Scream. Of course, from 1996, the Wes Craven directed film. Absolutely amazing. This is a movie that I'd put in the same regard as John Carpenter's original Halloween, which, if you know me, if you know this channel, you know that's pretty big coming from me anyway. Absolutely adore this film. Like I said earlier, one of my favorite films of all time. Absolutely love the performances in this movie from pretty much every actor and actress involved. Love the story, love the mystery, love the brutality in the film. Love, this movie introduced so many things that are now iconic to the horror world, like the Ghostface mask, Roger L. Jackson's voice, Sidney Prescott as a final girl. It's just such an amazing franchise that started with an unbelievably amazing film, and that's why it's definitely got to be number 1 here in my Scream ranking. So there it is, folks. Gotta say, not a whole lot has changed with my Scream rankings. I believe last time, previous to 5 being released, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much just in their order of release. But now we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. So there you go, Scream 4. You got caught slipping. You got surpassed. You're still at the bottom. I hope Scream 4 stays at the bottom, at least in my opinion, because I don't want to see another one that comes out, in my opinion, that's worse than that. So we'll keep, hopefully it stays in its position. But we got Scream 6 coming up, ladies and gents. It has been greenlit. I've talked about it a little bit on this channel. So there's no telling where Scream 6 may land on this ranking in a year or two from now. But like I said, that's my ranking, just my opinion. No one take it to heart. Let me know your thoughts. What is your ranking for the Scream franchise? Let me know down below in the comment section. And while you're there, leave me a like if you've enjoyed this video. Dislike if you didn't. No one's going to see it but me. I don't check that shit. Have a blast. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications if you really like what we're doing here at Bloody Breakdown. And check the description for a couple of links to join this channel to support it, or follow me on Twitter. So with that said, I'm very much looking forward to seeing your rankings down below, so leave those. And I'm Bran, and you just got the Bloody Breakdown on my Scream franchise ranking.